Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10, powered by Century Pro Wood and Panasonic.
Ladies and gentlemen, what does a retired, out of work, ex-Secretary of State of America do? You know, especially when he wants to earn some money, what he does is that he publishes a book to make the book sell a few more copies and make a few more dollars. He adds in a little bit of masala, writes whatever the hell he wants, then publicizes that exact part and thinks that that's the way. Only in this particular case, Mike Pompeo has overstated it. He's gone a little over the top, and he says that Pakistan was going to nuke India. And it is because of him that India did not get nuked. I call this, ladies and gentlemen, delusional. Let's debate.
To sell his book, the former US Secretary of State is now going to town saying the US averted a nuclear war between India and Pakistan. It's bizarre. Pakistan, whose missiles flop to the ground. Pakistan, which just cannot keep the power on in its cities, is capable of striking us. Pakistan, which is still trembling from the wars of the past.
And it is up to us to live peacefully and progress, or quarrel with each other and waste time and resources. That's up to us. Pakistan has learned its lesson. We had 3 wars with India, 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries, unemployment, poverty, and millions.
Same Pakistan which is getting rejected by the IMF for aid.
आप कहते तो नहीं, लेकिन दिल के अंदर तो आप समझते होंगे ये पैसे मांगने आ गए हैं। तो मैंने कहा कि ये पाकिस्तान, एक मिसाल इसकी ये है कि एक हाथ में हमारे एक न्यूक्लियर ताकत है और दूसरे हाथ में कशकोल। ये आग और पानी का ये कब तक ये मिलाप हो नहीं सकता, कब तक?
This Pakistan is no match for India's might. India has made its intent clear already.
हमारी यात्रा तो तब पूरी होगी जब हम 22 फरवरी 1949 को भारतीय संसद में सर्वसम्मत पारित हुए प्रस्ताव को अमल में लाएंगे और उसके अनुरूप हम अपने बाकी बचे हिस्से जैसे गिलगित और बाल्टिस्तान तक पहुंचेंगे.
So those delusionally believing Pakistan stands a nuclear chance need to snap out of it. Let's debate.
I'd like to welcome Madhav Nalapat, General Dhruv Katoch, Director of the India Foundation, Major Gaurav Arya, and Sushant Sareen. From Pakistan, I have Kamar Chima, I have Hamid Khan, and I have Gabriel Noronha, who's a former Special Advisor for Iran at the US State Department under then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. And now he's the Executive Director of the Forum for American Leadership. Gabriel, I'm sorry to say that this is absolutely delusional. I think there's an exaggerated sense of self-importance that America has, that these phone calls, they've been watching too many of the B-grade Hollywood flicks where, a bunch of Americans drinking lots of coffee are solving global problems everywhere. It's not the way the world works anymore. Actually, it's not the way the world ever worked. But why lie? Why lie? Why make these exaggerated claims? And there is no documentary evidence. You have to sell a book, and then you are saying that Pakistan was going to nuke India. I mean, have you any idea of reality? That Pakistan is going to nuke India. They say, Gaurav, you heard that? You heard that, Madhav? Oh, we're so scared, aren't we? Madhav, we're so grateful to America for saving us from getting nuked. It's bizarre.
Well, look, first of all,
absolutely bizarre. It's completely delusional. I mean, this is a ridiculous claim. And I may sell a book, but that's it. Yes, Gabriel.
Look, I've been in the State Department for lots of times when world leaders are facing a crisis, and it might be Armenia and Azerbaijan, it might be India and Pakistan, and they look to the United States as a mediator. That doesn't mean we can solve.
No, we don't see America as a mediator. No, America may see itself as a mediator. Gabriel, please. That is so wrong. You see, I'll tell you one thing. Now let me say this to you, okay? Nicaragua may see itself as a mediator in any issues between the US and Mexico. Does that make Nicaragua a mediator? I'm sorry to bring, Americans must come back to ground zero. Right? And I want you to just don't get into this mediation too seriously. You make a phone call, everybody will be polite to take it. That's it.
We're a trusted ally.
Yes? Yes?
Look, we're a mediator between countries. That doesn't mean we're solving everything, but we can serve as a channel to avoid crisis. And in this case, Pakistan had activated their National Command Authority. Doesn't mean that they were going to nuke India. It just means that they were looking into all options. And often in this time of war, you can have misinterpretation. You can have tensions run out of control. And that's when a country like the United States doesn't have a dog in this fight. We want to ensure that there's peace between India and Pakistan. It doesn't serve our interest for there to be any military conflict between the two nations. And so we can pass messages.
I say this. See, the thing is, when you make a claim such as this, the important thing, and I want to get Madhav in, then I'll get, there's a military dimension of it I want to discuss with Gaurav and everyone. But you got to back it up with something, right? You can't just say something, and you got to back it up with some documentary evidence. Madhav?
Arnab, let me point out that Pakistan has always used nuclear blackmail, the threat of using nukes. And frankly, there are grave doubts about the quality of those nukes, that they've been supplied by China. The United States is fully aware of it. I'm sure some in the US know the quality of Pakistan's nukes. But this has been a standard tactic of Pakistan, and has been a standard tactic of the US to pretend to believe these claims. You remember back in 2001, 2002, there were a rash of comments. In fact, several think tanks made millions out of old ladies who were upset about a prospect of nuclear war. And they contributed to think tanks dedicated to, quote unquote, solving such an issue. And I wrote a piece which came in the Washington Times, Gabriel, among other news outlets in the world, that said this is nonsense. There is not going to be any nuclear war because generals in Pakistan are not crazy. They know the retaliation that will be waiting for them if they ever launch or attempt to launch a nuclear war in India. They would be crazy. And I'd like to say about Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo has got some very good views on China, on Taiwan, and various issues. So I'm only going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was not the first US Secretary of State to be completely bamboozled by the Pakistan military's nuclear blackmail. Prime Minister Modi was not. After decades, several decades, a strike was launched inside Pakistan territory. That really created a problem for GHQ Rawalpindi. And naturally, they brought the nuclear blackmail out of the hat. And whom did they have to basically carry it to the Indians? Mike Pompeo. And Sushma Swaraj gave a very correct answer that if Pakistan ever launches that attack, Pakistan will regret it. Let me assure you, there was no question of such an attack.
Yeah, the issue here is, and where, Gabriel, there's a disconnect with you is, there is no hyphen in the India-Pakistan equation anymore, right? We when we want to, and let me put it even more straightforwardly, Gabriel, when we feel like, and when they cross the line, we bomb them. Now, it's as straightforward as that, Gaurav. You know, have I made it clear to you? We are more straightforward than the Israelis, and we've done it many times. We don't need a namby-pamby American Secretary of State to make phone calls. When they cross the line, we bomb them. And I'm telling you, this is exactly how India operates. As you know, we sent in the Mirages. We sent them fully equipped with Spice 2000 precision bombs, right? And we bombed the living daylights out of Pakistan. Gaurav will tell you more, right? And we did it in the full knowledge that Pakistan cannot afford to raise a little finger against us. That is the reality. Now, after that, if Mike Pompeo thinks he's in a video game making phone calls, don't worry. They will not dare to do anything against India, because India will bomb the living daylight out of every city and village in Pakistan if they dare to. You see, so we don't need the American intervention much for the enthusiasm, Gabriel, you know?
Look, I've met with Foreign Minister Jaishankar at the State Department. He doesn't share I don't think he shares this view that we don't need the United States. The United States needs India. The Indians need the United States.
One more. Just one minute. It would be fantastic to have a good trade equation with you. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. We don't need your intervention, especially in how we deal with Pakistan. We deal with them, it's our problem. We deal with them. When they cross the line, we bomb them. That's how we do it. We don't need American intervention.
That's not to serve the Indian people.
That is the reality, because I'm telling you, Gabriel, did we not send our fighter jets? Did we not bomb them with the Spice 2000 missiles? Did we not do that? Haven't we done it repeatedly? Haven't we carried out the surgical strikes? Haven't we sent our special corps? Haven't we attacked the places which we need to attack? Right? Are we not totally nuclear capable? Right? But at the same time, we have a tremendous amount of restraint. But I won't want to take over the conversation. I want Gaurav Arya to speak to you. Gaurav.
Arnab, I think Mike Pompeo has clearly overstated his case. This ability of America to pick up a phone and tell the Indians and the Pakistanis, back down. This is Uncle Sam speaking. It actually doesn't happen like that. This is a figment of Mike Pompeo's imagination. And this whole American philosophy, that we can sort of pressurize the world. Maybe some small little countries, yes, you can. India never. It can't happen with India. Okay? If you come in good faith, we'll listen to you. If you try to pressurize, you tried to pressurize us in case of S-400. You said don't buy S-400, don't buy Russian oil. Where did that pressure get you? It gets you nowhere. You pressurize India, it doesn't work. And one thing I admire about the Pakistanis, they have got this nuclear blackmail thing down to pat. Arnab, they do it so beautifully. It's like Beethoven, doing his stuff. So they have these civilians who will talk about nuclear attacks. They have these civilian ministers like Sheikh Rashid.
Like Samud Ahmad Yaqub, who are on the program, like all the Pakistani friends who are on the program like that.
Sheikh Rashid will make a nuclear threat.
Yeah, even Hamid Khan will, even Qamar Chima will, even Brigadier Saeed Nazir will, even Abdul Samad Yaqub will, who obviously is having trouble with electricity today. Look at him, he does no electricity in his house. The man is in the dark tonight.
Arnab, I could be wrong, Arnab. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard a 4-star general making a nuclear threat. I don't remember a 4-star making a nuclear threat from Pakistan, or even a 3-star. I don't remember. Maybe they have done it. Maybe I've missed out. It's generally the politicians, because the Pakistani generals know that nobody takes their politicians seriously. So the politicians can say that we'll wipe out New Delhi, we'll wipe out Mumbai, and everybody laughs it off because they're non-serious anyway. Pakistani politicians.
Well said, well said. Brigadier Saeed Nazir is dying to come into the debate, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say one thing to Gabriel. Gabriel, it's not out of disrespect, but we spend billions on our nuclear program, We spend billions developing missiles that are completely nuclear capable. Right? We have a large nuclear arsenal and we are proud of it. We're equally proud of our restraint, right? We have missiles with a 10,000 kilometer range. We're developing it, and in fact that program of Agni 6 is going to be a fantastic missile. I can assure you, Gabriel, that no country in the world, including yours or any country, would ever like to have a moment of nuclear reckoning with India. I'm just saying it because at the pace of our nuclear arms development, but look at the maturity of the Indian leadership, right? Unlike these Pakistanis, unlike Brigadier Nazir, you see, Gabriel, unlike these Pakistanis.
I don't doubt what you're saying at all. I completely agree that there's no reason that Pakistan would want to threaten India with a nuclear weapon. And according to Pakistan, they were saying, no, we weren't doing this. The problem is intelligence ministries can often pick up mixed signals. Maybe it's a junior level official saying something on a cell phone, and that gets all the way up to the Indian leadership, and people draw it out of conclusion. That's why you need to talk to each other and make sure that these signals that your intelligence ministries are picking up.
I take that way. That I accept, Gabriel. That if it is in good faith that one comes in, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of the reality. And I'm sure that there would be an attempt by the Pakistanis. You know how it is, Gabriel. The Pakistanis have nothing left in their country, and I get no pleasure in saying this, Sushant. They have no electricity today. All their government offices are shut. Their salary cuts of 10 to 20% of all government employees. They are exporting donkeys desperately as a desperate economic measure. The Saudis are not giving them money. Their inflation has crossed 35%, Gabriel. 35% inflation. It's gone crazy, right? So, and Abdul Samad Yaqub, how long have you been like that, in that pathetic situation, without electricity in your house? And isn't it ironical that it's ironical, right? All your nuclear dreams and you can't give electricity to your house.
Can I say something?
My electricity is available around the clock. I mean, I never face the load shedding.
Right.
I think let's come to the point.
I am on the point. I'm on the point, so is Sushant. I'm on the point. I'm totally on the point. I'm on the point that all this, your Prime Minister went recently on television and he said, we tried to fight 3 wars with India. We've learned such a lesson. We're going to be good in the future. We're never going to do it again. That's the point. The point is that your decades of nuclear blackmail have landed you in this terrible situation where you have nothing to eat. And you have accepted. I'm just saying to you, the point is that you should stop trying to do nuclear blackmail. That's all. That's the point, right, Sushant? That's the point. So don't go crying to Mike Pompeo if we bombed you. If we bombed you, we bombed you. Don't go crying to Mike Pompeo that we bombed you. Pompeo is not going to do a thing for you. Nor can America.
And if you want to, you should have retaliated. You should have retaliated right after the Mumbai attacks, but you didn't retaliate. And what you are calling.
But now there's a Modi government. No, but now there's a Modi government. Have you not seen? You want to see more?
But. This is whether you call it a nuclear blackmailing.
I'll get Kamar and him on
this is actually the full spectrum deterrence. This is the posture since we have transformed this minimum credible deterrence to full spectrum deterrence, and this is a full spectrum deterrence, and it has successfully deterred India on multiple occasions. And Mike Pompeo has revealed this, that Sushma Swaraj, who contacted at the mid of the night to the Mike Pompeo.
No.
Since she knows that she had a credible threat by Pakistan.
Sushma Swaraj contacted Mike Pompeo.
Yes,
are you out of your
America
mind?
has multiple time intervened. America has multiple time played its role. I mean, right after the Mumbai attacks, it has played its odd role.
I don't know who Mike Pompeo thinks he was talking about. He's not even referring to Sushma Swaraj. Here, he doesn't mention to anyone. He's got everything wrong. He refers to he as his Indian counterpart. His Indian counterpart was a lady. He gets that wrong, so he's lying. So Sushant,
Indian
what is this? Sushant, the Pakistanis. Further. Okay, what is further? What is further?
Further, he revealed in his book that her counterpart was not an important player. I mean, he was discussing the matters with the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval.
Oh God! And what else? Bilawal Bhutto was sent on a hot air balloon to negotiate.
What else have been?
What do you believe? You know, what is wrong with you people?
Pompeo actually has
why can't you become normal?
Narrative you have
Sushant, why can't you become normal? Why do you...
Arnab, I don't, I'm not into the business of getting Pakistanis to behave normal, but just on this particular episode, I think there is some problems in what Mr. Pompeo's account is and Mr. Samad's reading of it. Now, either you say that the counterpart was not an important person and you call him a he, thinking that you're talking to the NSA, who is a very important person, or if you're talking about the counterpart, it was a she, which was Sushma Swaraj, and for anybody to say that she was not an important person in that ministry, she was not a part of the decision-making framework, then obviously Americans really need to get their intelligence correct. So I think there is a problem in the way Mr. Pompeo has presented this. But I would imagine that there would have been some conversation. I don't know what the contents of that conversation would be, but I think on that particular night, what he is referring to, some conversation did take place. But I'm not sure, what exactly was the conversation and whether we were calling them up or the Americans themselves had become very, afraid of the way the situation was developing. And I'll just give me half a minute and I'll explain to you how the situation was developing. And that they were calling up to find out what exactly is happening. And they were trying to say that maybe this can go nuclear, but I don't think that would have worked out. But the Americans have on at least 4 occasions in the past made this kind of assessment, and it's turned out to be wrong. The first was, of course, many years back during Operation Brass Tacks, when the Americans said that, the Pakistanis had prepared nuclear bombs and stuff like that, and it was all good. There was this famous Gates mission, which every Indian in positions of responsibility denies. Then during the Kargil time again, the Americans were thinking that it could go nuclear. The Indians had simply denied that that will happen. Again, as Mr. Nalapat is telling us about 2001, 2002, the standoff. And then finally, as Mr. Pompeo is saying, after the Pulwama strike. So maybe the Pakistanis are trying to do something, but I don't think that would have impressed Indians. But also remember, Arnab, after the air skirmishes and the fact that Abhinandan, Wing Commander Abhinandan was in Pakistani custody, there was a very stern message which had gone from the Indian side. The Pakistani press has reported it, the Indian press has reported it. That there was a conversation between then ISI
the point is,
just listen to this. Arnab, just give me half a minute. There was a conversation at that point of time, and India had made it very clear there will be no negotiations, that the man has to be returned, and very strong retaliation will follow.
No, but
the Pakistanis say that the Indians had trained missiles on Pakistan, and if you remember, the former Speaker of the Pakistani National Assembly, Ayaz Sadiq, making that statement on the floor of the House, because he had been told by responsible Pakistanis कि टांगे कांप रही थी, माथे पे पसीना था,
हाँ,
they were expecting an retaliation. So
exactly.
American fear would have been that it
नहीं जब असेंबली में नहीं जब आपके असेंबली में कमर चीमा हामिद खान, आपके असेंबली में आपके पॉलिटिशियन खड़े होके, आपके सरकार के लोग, आपके हुकूमत के लोग खड़े होके बैठ के वहां पे बोल रहे, भैया प्लीज कुछ करिए, टांगे कांप रही है, हमारे माथे में पसीना है. These are the words. Do you remember that? टांगे कांप रही है, माथे में पसीना है, कुछ करिए, India is going to attack us. Do something. Gaurav, don't laugh. Gaurav, these Pakis have been beaten so badly by us in the past. Maybe Gabriel does not have the context, but I need to tell you, Gabriel, and you must be witness to this. I'll tell you, Gabriel, something remarkable about the Pakistanis. I'll tell you, they have many qualities, and one of those is of absolute shamelessness, because when we beat them black and blue, Gabriel, in 1971, 90,000 of their prisoners, there's a beautiful picture. They bent down, they lay their arms, they saluted the Indian army during the surrender. We didn't even tell them to.
ये पागल जब
We didn't even tell them to. अरे आप क्या बात कर रहे हैं? कमर चीमा साहब, आप मेरी बात सुनिए. हामिद खान, don't get provoked. I'm telling you. आपको बता रहा हूँ मैं. I'm telling you more.
गिली हो गई.
Complain मत कीजिए. Don't start complaining.
Pompeo कह रहा है. Pompeo was saying.
Pompeo.
Listen. Pompeo was saying an Indian diplomat requested me कि please पाकिस्तान हम पे हमला करेगा. This is what Pompeo saying. पाकिस्तान में अटैक. भाई आपकी इतनी.
भाई आपका भाई.
अगर आप इतने काबिल नहीं हो, इतने जोगे नहीं हो, तो खड़े क्यों हो भाई?
ओ भाई सुनिए मेरी बात.
सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक करने का शौक है तो बाद में भाग अमेरिकियों के.
अरे किया ना.
शर्म नहीं आई?
अभी कहते हैं नहीं किया. अभी एक्नॉलेज किया कि सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की है. आप डिसाइड कर लो भाई, की तो है.
डिप्लोमेट ने इंडियन फौज को हमारे हाथों से बचा लिया. उस हाथ वरना पता नहीं क्या हो जाता. आप भी ना होते, ये जो आप टक करते रहते हो ना सारा टाइम. अर्नब आप भी ना होते तो बाकी अमेरिका जाते. बस एक बात है, पिछले काफी वर्षों से आपको एक बात अमेरिका की बुरी लगी.
Pakistanis are so funny.
आपको सिर्फ ये है.
The Pakistanis are out of control. And the hungrier they get, the worse they get. They have nothing to eat now.
हमें भारत पाकिस्तान से बचा.
It's pathetic.
Can I say something now?
It's pathetic.
कि पाकिस्तान फौज से बचा लो. भाई इतने जोगे नहीं हो, इतने जोगे खुदा का नाम लो. उस खेल में पड़ते क्यों? जिस खेल के खिलाड़ी क्यों? तो ये तो बता दो. पॉम्पियो के आगे टांगें बांधनी है आपकी और हमें क्या? तो हम बड़े बहादुर हैं. नरेंद्र मोदी की छाती है, हम ये कर देंगे. शुक्र करें द इंडियन डिप्लोमेट सेव इंडियन आर्मी फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान. ये है आपका हालत. इंडियन डिप्लोमेट ने रिक्वेस्ट की. वो हनोई में सोया हुआ था. हनोई में होटल में सोया हुआ था पोम्पियो. एंड उसको कॉल की और कहा भाईजान को बचा लो हमें. दिस इज व्हाट पोम्पियो इज सेइंग. शेम ऑन इंडियन आर्मी.
जनरल कटोच, स्टॉप हिम. गौरव, स्टॉप हिम.
के लिए लगे.
Can I say something now?
Yeah. General Dhruv Katoch is saying something. He's director of the India Foundation. Very amused we all are. I tell you one thing, General Katoch, I'll tell you one thing.
Could you just hold a minute now?
3 or 4 years back, 5-6 years back, I've been doing this India-Pakistan debates for such a long time. I love verbally nuking these Pakistanis. I've done it for over a decade.
I love you, Arnab. I love you.
Yeah.
You amuse us whole day. I amuse you for a few minutes. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's all right. No problem, please. My question here is that I'll tell you what is going to happen to you. Come on. Earlier you said we are going to bomb India. Then you said we will bomb Afghanistan. Now, because nobody is giving you money, you are going to self-combust. You're going to say we're going to bomb ourselves. We're worried for you.
No. Pompeo said Indians are saying Pakistan is bombing us. This is what is the story.
Oh God, for God's sake, I'll tell you. General Katoch, please. General Katoch.
America के पाँव ना पड़ो.
Arnab, I'd like to come in now.
Yeah, go on, General Katoch. General Katoch, आप बोलिए.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you, Arnab. Arnab, there are a few points which I think need to be understood very clearly. The nuclear game is a totally different game. It is a deterrent weapon. It is not something which people use casually. But Pakistan has been using these words very, very casually.
Correct.
Every time something happens, they say we will nuke India. Now, the first time this happened was when India carried out a cross-border strike in Myanmar and hit at terrorist camps. The Pakistanis then made a statement. You can do it in Myanmar. If you do it against us, we will show you. We will nuke you. Yeah. So then we did the surgical strike. Nothing happened. The nuclear bluff was called for the first time. And then a few years later, we struck deep inside the heart of Pakistan in Balakot, where again the nuclear bluff was called. Now, I think it is important. To convey this message that as far as India is concerned, we have got a nuclear doctrine. We will stick by it, and the response, if it comes, will be very severe and very hard. If Pakistan thinks of attacking us, that will be the destruction of Pakistan. That is the end game. Period. So we will take the casualties, but we will not be blackmailed on nuclear issues. As far as the West is concerned, let's understand one thing.
Yeah.
No, one more point, just one more. As far as the West is concerned, this is important to understand. You see, Americans have always tried to interfere in our affairs, including the Western countries, by saying, listen, India and Pakistan are nuclear-armed neighbors, so they get a handle to interfere into our business. Now, as far as the West is concerned, please understand, Russia has got nuclear weapons. The biggest threat of nuclear war is coming out there, but everybody is keeping quiet. I think it's high time the world tells these people, stop this nuclear hypocrisy.
Yeah, but I want to now Gabriel's been former special advisor for Iran at the U.S. State Department. Gabriel, just factually speaking, in this book, Mike Pompeo, who you've worked under, says no other nation could have done what we did that night to avoid a horrible outcome, suggesting that India had an upper hand, but called America to seek permission on carrying out a nuclear strike. Now, when we did not seek permission to send our Mirages and bomb Pakistan, why would we seek permission for the second? And secondly, he says that he asked his Indian counterpart, please don't, 1 minute, Mr. I'm talking to Gabriel. He says, please don't bomb Pakistan yet. Please do nothing for a moment. Give us a minute to get back to you. And in that magical moment, like right out of some superhero film, Mike Pompeo, Madhav, calls up, says, just 1 minute, we'll sort this whole nuclear thing out. We'll sort it all out. But it seems incredible that for someone as a seasoned policymaker like you, this attempt to try and portray India as a reckless nuclear power, when the fact is that we have adopted unilaterally on our own suo moto a no first use policy. While Pakistan is the one which has no such policy of first use. So I think that has not been factored in here.
Your question is actually a very good one. I think the question is, does India view Pakistan as an irrational actor? Do they believe that Pakistan is not capable of using nukes in a smart way? And I think it was really about India saying, hey, we're concerned that Pakistan is not acting rationally here, that they may make a mistake. Because you're right. If Pakistan decides to nuke India, that's the end of Pakistan. There is no more Pakistan after that nuclear weapon. India didn't want Pakistan to even think about making that mistake. But not everything has to be a military conflict. Some things can be solved, and sometimes this is the best solution.
That's a good point.
Look, I think Pakistan is in the worst position. They don't have a good economy. They don't have a stronger military force than India, and so their nuclear deterrent is the last thing that they have on the table to prevent India from doing further incursions. India doesn't want to get that situation out of hand. Right now, they have a good economy. The people are relatively happy. So why upset it? The status quo is a good position for India. Not really for Pakistan, but it's a good situation for India.
Yeah, I actually agree with you in terms of your overall analysis out there. And while you are understating it, the fact of the matter is, Hamid, people don't take Pakistan seriously. What your problem is, Professor Madhav Balapat will put it together better to you. But what happens? You have a credibility problem. And when there is when you have a credibility problem, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing.
Okay, can I say something now?
Please do.
Okay. To be honest,
yes.
Your today's topic is...
You don't have to preface that, even though you're a Pakistani. You don't have to keep saying, to be honest. Okay, I know you're a Pakistani. You don't have to keep saying, I'm going to be honest. You don't have to have that issue here, please. Please just speak freely. Yeah.
You really have no ethics how to talk, honestly. If you don't want me to talk, then don't invite me ever. Please. Let me speak.
Don't get upset.
Stupid.
No, don't get upset. No, don't get upset. I just said that you're a Pakistani, but you don't have to keep saying you're honest. It seems you suffer from some kind of a complex.
You just have to keep your mouth shut for a minute to listen to me.
No, I'm just telling you in a little bit of humor. I know Pakistanis don't understand.
No, I don't want your humor.
It's not your choice.
If you want...
It's not your choice.
If you want to cover up your humiliation by the Mike Pompeo's book, which has revealed how humiliation it was for the Indians, that Pakistan made a threat not only trembling Indian foreign minister.
Why make a
not
threat,
only
execute it?
trembling
No.
Indian government.
We bombed the
Listen to me
daylights
now.
out of you. We sent our Mirages. So,
If you have
stop
dared,
trying to, for God's sake, even
Okay,
today,
I
even today,
I
in your
gave
humiliated
you-
and pathetic
I
state,
challenge you.
you are hanging on to Mike
I
Pompeo's
challenge
coattails.
you.
Do you know
Oh,
what is
God.
going on in your
I
country
challenge
today?
you.
Your Prime Minister apologized on
challenge
Al Arabiya 2 weeks back.
Oh God.
Your Prime
I
Minister
challenge you.
apologized to India
I
2 weeks
challenge
back on
you.
Al Arabiya.
I challenge you.
Your Prime Minister
I challenge
apologized. There's no
you, if you
challenge.
have dare-
Your Prime Minister apologized.
I challenge you, if you dare, go and sue Mike Pompeo. You guys will pee in your pants.
See,
You
this
are
is the
so
way. The
scared
problem
of
is, I
Americans,
forgive
okay?
Gabriel. You know,
And
the problem with the
Pakistan
Pakistanis is,
made
you
on
see, they
that
show
day
their
in your
culture
pants.
within a moment. You have to hide the fact that you're talking like. Don't talk
Because
like that. You are
you
among
cannot
educated
challenge-
people. You
you
cannot
cannot
talk.
sue
And this
India.
is
You
a so-called
cannot sue
this is a so-called strategic affairs expert.
cannot-
Look at the way he brings the quality of conversation down,
because
Gaurav.
you're not listening
Look at
to
the
me.
language he
You
speaks.
cannot sue
How long
Mike
do we
Pompeo.
forgive these Pakistanis for talking like that?
You cannot sue Mike
I won't
Pompeo.
I won't use that language, and I won't ask you what you did in your pants.
Yeah, because
but
you-
I just
you
want to
want me to
ask you,
listen to
what
you.
did you
No.
do? I won't ask you
You
what you
want me
did,
to listen
but
to
but
you.
I will not accuse you. I will not
Listen,
accuse
I
you
don't
of
want to
such
listen to your bhashan.
acts. But I want to ask you,
listen
what
to your
were 90,000 of your soldiers doing? What were 90,000 of your soldiers doing in 1971?
Mike Pompeo has badly exposed
I think
Indians,
Madhav and Gaurav, over to you, man.
that day and
Over to you.
I just want to say
Mike
something.
Pompeo has
Amit Khan
badly
sir, just one
exposed
minute.
your
Yes, sir.
how he
Gaurav and come on, Gaurav and Madhav, go on.
I can see
Okay. I just want to make a point.
on your
Hamid
faces.
Khan, you need to stop talking. Hamid Khan, it's my turn
No.
to talk, please. I request you.
Major,
It's my turn to talk.
let me speak.
Karna.
If he will let
No.
me speak.
No. Okay, you'll be given your chance again. We have time. So you know.
I don't think.
Okay. You know, Hamid Khan, I'm with all due respect, and I don't mean to be disrespectful here. I'm going to have this book translated into Lahori Punjabi, so you can understand. Clearly, you haven't understood what Mike Pompeo is saying. All right.
No,
you need to
no,
go
I
and.
can't.
Boliye. Fantastic.
He
Sir,
always
allow me
said
to
two
complete.
things.
So Shant
Allow me
can
to
also
complete,
help you in that.
Allow me to complete.
No,
Sir, allow me
he
to
always
Punjabi
said
expert
two
on the
things.
program.
One,
Allow me to complete.
Bolo, Gaurav,
This
bolo.
whole fascination that you have, this whole fascination that you have with the Americans. Look what
why
Mike
are you
Pompeo
doing
wrote.
this
How
program?
does it matter?
Because you know
Sir,
you have
hold
been
on, sir.
humiliated by
Sir,
Mike
hold on.
Pompeo.
Let me complete.
देखो ये
Let me
point
complete,
है।
Hamid Khan.
Mike Pompeo
Hamid
ने
Khan साहब,
आपको-
आप मुझे complete तो
आपको
करने दें।
expose कर दिया।
सर, आप
Mike
किसी को बात ही
Pompeo
नहीं
ने
करने देते।
आपको expose कर दिया।
अरे सर, मेरी बात तो सुनिए। मेरी बात तो सुन लीजिए आप। माइक पोम्पियो ऐसा नाम जप रहे हैं जैसे खुदा का नाम है। तस्वीर लेके माइक पोम्पियो क्या दे देगा वो? डॉलर दे
वैसे
देगा?
ना, you
आप
have
लोगों
said
को
more
सर
times
सुनिए
than me.
सर, एक मिनट सर, बात तो सुन लीजिए सर। माइक पोम्पियो की तस्वीर को कोने में रखें, मेरी बात सुने। आप लोग बड़े फैसिनेटेड है अमेरिकन से, बिकॉज यू आर लिविंग ऑफ अमेरिकन डॉलर सिंस 1947। आपको लगता है कि आपको लगता है यू फील दैट बिकॉज द अमेरिकन हैव सेड समथिंग। सर होल्ड ऑन, you think that because an American says something, it is the word of God?
No.
So you're quoting the whole. Sir, hold on.
Chaliye.
The whole thing that Arnab is saying, the whole program is based on the premise. What Arnab Goswami is saying, that Mike Pompeo is wrong. He's overstating his case. That is what Arnab said in the beginning. Did you understand?
I'm not overstating. I am just saying two things.
Not you,
One,
Mike Pompeo.
That Mike Pompeo has explained
Okay.
and exposed
Oh, Baba, Mike
Indian
Pompeo has
humiliation.
overstated his
Oh,
case.
God, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
don't understand.
After
Oh, यार, आपको
Abhinandan
समझ
was
नहीं
brought
आती
down,
मैं-
Anyway,
India was
आपको-
humiliated.
Sushant can explain in Punjabi.
I'll give Sushant 30 seconds in Punjabi if he so chooses.
Sushant, please explain in Punjabi.
I'll give him 30 seconds in Punjabi if he so chooses. But Sushant,
To sue Mike
if you'd
Pompeo.
like to.
Will you sue his book? Just tell me. Are you going to sue him? Are you going to sue him in the court of America?
Court
Tell
of
me that.
America? No, not in the court of America.
Sue him. Tell me that.
He's so funny. These Pakistanis are so funny. Gaurav, कुछ कहना चाहेंगे
Are you
आप?
going to
इस पर
sue
कुछ
against
समय
Mike
पैसे की
Pompeo's book?
हामिद
That's my
खान
challenge.
साहब, हामिद खान साहब, हर समय पैसे की भूख, सू करके पैसे ले लो, सू करके पैसे ले लो, हर समय
अरे
पैसे
भाई
की भूख।
आप सू
हद हो
करो,
गई यार।
आप उसको करो।
बहुत जनाब,
अच्छा,
पैसे का चक्कर।
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what a laugh that has been. What fantastic debate out there. Okay. Thank you for providing us our daily amusement to our Pakistani friends tonight. I don't want to be patronizing, but that's your situation in life nowadays. We wish you luck. We wish you luck. We hope China imports more of your donkeys and much, much more. May that bring you great wealth and prosperity. And ladies and gentlemen, Anil Antony, the son of senior Congress leader A.K. Antony, has walked out of the party. He's saying it is disgraceful for a party like this to stoop to this kind of level. And he says he refuses to be part of a sycophant coterie. Take a look at what happened, what he said, then we speak to Anil himself.